going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're here for a brand new Madden 25 Team Builder rebuild, where we have relocated the Arizona Cardinals and given Hawaii their first professional NFL team. We are the Hawaii Koas. Shout out to CB Gaming for this team that he put up on the Madden share for Team Builder. We utilized one of his Team Builder teams in our last rebuild, the Vegas Vipers. That was a themed rebuild where we kind of made a pink slip player. Had to be the priority. He had to be height, weight, speed at every single position. We built that team up. We drafted Arch Manning. We drafted Nick Harbor, the cheat code from College Football 25. We actually, in that rebuild, got the greatest generational prospect at running back that I've ever seen. An 88 overall X Factor. It was incredible. And here today, we're going to do a little bit of like a theme team kind of deal. Now, we're not outright going to say that our team and players are going to be strictly like Polynesian football players. But we're going to try to take a priority here because I think there's going to be, again, I'm Canadian, don't have a lot of experience with that culture. It's not something that exists here, but it's something that is someone that consumes American culture, and if it's consumed the football culture, obviously it is gigantic. And I think that they would be in the same way Canadians, if there was ever a team that like relocated to Toronto. I bet you Canadians in the NFL would love to be a part of that project. And I feel like if a team ever relocated to Hawaii, there'd be a lot of Polynesian players that would take a sense of pride on wanting to be a part of that. So for this, it's not a realistic rebuild. We're going to have fun. We're going to try and acquire some talent that would be star talent, put in the position to thrive here in the Hawaiian market. We're also going to try to prioritize some of the big names in the upcoming college football class, 2025, 2026, 2027. And we're going to try and have a fine mesh of Polynesian players playing for Hawaii, best players available playing for Hawaii, and in a minimum of 5, maximum of 10 seasons, we're going to try to turn this thing into a Super Bowl contender. So we're not going to be able to get all the big names, so I'm going to try as realistically as I can without giving up draft picks. I want my draft picks. I kind of have a plan of how I want to address the draft. So we're going to try to make as many moves as we can happen. We're going to get Vaki, the running back from the Detroit Lions. We're going to send them Michael Carter. Didn't love the bargaining that went into this one, but to get Andre Yoshivas from the Cincinnati Bengals, I was able to get a 5th-round pick thrown in. I gave Stills, but the one I didn't want to give up is Ojulari, 71 star dev pass rusher on that rookie contract. But Yoshivas, wide receiver 3, he's a contributor on that Bengals offense. We're just going to get him for free. We'll give up a couple pieces, most notably 76 star dev second-year running back Trey Benson to get Kingsley Suimati at right tackle from the Kansas City Chiefs. Had to give up another 3-package deal headlined by James Conner to get 73 guard Daniel Falele, only 25 years old, so he's a lineman I think we can grow and develop with. For a straight swap, I was able to give up Mac Wilson 76 star to get Henry To'oto'o 74 normal, but there's about a 2-3 year age difference, so a little bit more upside for To'oto'o. Able to do a straight swap, Baron Browning 74 star dev to bring over Nick Herbig from the Pittsburgh Steelers. That'll be a nice pass rush for us. For Sean Murphy-Bunting, I took a little bit of a hit from a rating standpoint. We're able to get Leo Faust, second-year star dev linebacker from the Dallas Cowboys. There's some upside. That's what we're banking on here. It's a rebuild. This is a weird trade. Kyler Murray was an interesting trade piece. I wanted to, even though it's not realistic, but find a team that needed a quarterback to make it work. So I had to throw Kyler Murray, Michael Wilson, who's 78 star, our 3rd-round pick and 5th-round pick this year, 4th-round pick next year. And I was able to get a 2nd-round pick next year. And Latu, the pass rusher from UCLA. One of the more important pieces I wanted to try and land, but it was very, very expensive. Latu better develop into a double-digit guy for us. This is a big one, but had to just rip the Band-Aid off. Hate that it's within the division, but we sent our 2 starting safeties, Jalen Thompson, 81, Buda Baker, 93 X Factor, and we're able to get Hufanga, who didn't hit free agency in this scenario, and Dominic Pooney, 83 star dev, 2nd-year player. That's a huge piece on the O-line. There's no chance I can get Sewell from the Lions. There's no scenario. I have no trade chips to make that happen. Pooney would be the next best high upside lineman that we can utilize. Another one that's a lot to digest. Puka, you got to get Puka Nacua. You have to. If we're doing this and we're committing to it, he is attainable. Rams are always open for business. I send Marvin Harrison Jr., the future. Froholt, 80 star dev. Zaven Collins, 78 star dev. Our 3rd-round pick next year, as well as a 6th and 7th next year. But we get our bona fide wide receiver 1. And the Rams are gambling that Marvin Harrison Jr. in 5 to 10 years' time, the length of this rebuild, will be ahead of Puka Nacua, which is I don't want to say necessarily strong possibility, but it could definitely happen. Another trade where I think we're getting hosed a little bit, but it's part of the big picture. Stick with me. We give Paris Johnson Jr. 84 star dev, Garrett Wilson 80 normal, but on a rookie contract, as well as in 3 years' time, so 2027, our first, second, and our second next season to get that second additional 2026 first. Trust me, working on something. I got a big plan. It's going to work out. It's going to be great. We're going to be happy with it. And we get Troy Fautano, 77 star dev. So it is I thought we got hosed on the value for Paris Johnson Jr., but to get a lineman that I want, to get a draft pick that I need for kind of this big plan, I had to do it. It doesn't work in free agency. I wanted to get Jaylen Warren at running back. I literally gave him probably $15 million more guaranteed than what he ended up taking for the Raiders, which was very, very frustrating. It wasn't my plan all along, but I was like, you know what, that could check out of what we're, trying to acquire talent-wise. But we get Julian Brackman in the safety, so him and Ufanga should be good. We got Juju Smith-Schuster in the slot, Fotu at nose tackle. We got Herbig at center. We got Palomalo at safety, and Mariota on a one-year rental. Our quarterback is in next year's draft class. You probably, you clicked on the video. You know where our quarterback is, or what my plan is. And I say is, asterisk, there's still a chance that what I think is going to happen still financially might not be able to happen, but we're going to try our best. That's why I've been acquiring future draft picks, and we'll have Mariota for the time being. Now the free agency's done, shifting our attention towards the draft. We have a couple players, big name guys. Nico Iamaleava would be interesting, even though we've handled business, I think, fair enough on the edge rush front. But Tetairoa McMillan has got to be our guy. We have to ensure that we will get him. Looking at the final mock draft, which, when you're kind of taking over these mid-season mocks, it's never super reliable where the players are to go. But T-Mac is going at number 9. We pick, as it stands right now, at 16. We're going to have to find a way to make that jump up. All right, so we're in the draft, and the issue when you do the start today, start the regular season, you don't get the full 5 mock drafts, which means you don't get that great baseline to feel good where the picks is. I wrote down all the actual mock draft picks to see if they're going in order, to feel good about if T-Mac's going to be available to what the latest possible point is, which is 9. That mock draft's already been shaken, and I feel like the Raiders could snipe him here. I think we need to see what it's going to cost for us to move up from 16 to number 6, 10 spots. And we're able to make this deal happen. It does cost us a former first-round pick in Darius Robinson, but right defensive end was the top need for the Raiders. So I knew that we threw in Democrato, just kind of sweeten the pot a little bit. It's going to cost us our first-round pick, Darius Robinson, and then a future 3rd and 4th. That's not brutal value, considering Robinson was a first-round pick a year ago. Now he's only a normal dev, limited ceiling. Maybe not a great first-round pick by the Cardinals, but we're no longer the Cardinals. Nothing about it. I don't know if you've noticed by all the trades that we're doing. This is not a Cardinals rebuild. This is not relocating the Cardinals. I'm creating something entirely different. So any existence of the Cardinals is not a necessity in this rebuild. What is a necessity is getting our top targets over these first 2 draft classes, and T-Mac is priority number 1. Here's exactly why we traded up. He is the next available player, so there's as much likelihood that he was going to go at this selection as, I don't honestly, looking at that board, he probably was going to go by the Raiders. If I'm the Raiders, I'm not seeing anything else there, especially with the addition of Geno Smith. You're probably not pulling the trigger on Shedeur Sanders. So, T-Mac, welcome to Hawaii. Number 12 in true value, getting him at pick number 6. 6'5", almost 90 speed, 90 jumping with a dev trait. An absolute beast. Now going into the second round, a couple top names off the board. Savania at 35 to the Giants was one of my top targets. JT Tuimalia at 37 to the Jags. I'm not gonna lie, that's who I really wanted, dream pick at 48, because I still want another edge rusher. Even though next year's draft is where I plan on being very aggressive for a certain edge rusher. And I get, there's just how I built. This whole video to this date is me kind of blowing up the Cardinals and getting guys that I think would be awesome players to start out a Hawaii franchise with, Polynesian adjacent players. But there's just no way I'm going to be able to cultivate an entire team just of Polynesian players, and I don't want to. But I do think having a base of guys that can play and rep Hawaii and this culture, and you mix that in with other players, we still have Trey McBride on my team. No plan on trading him in the foreseeable future. So we're going to have to look here at the second round and very likely go best player available. We desperately need help in the secondary at corner. And look at that. Who's available? I'm a little bit more interested right now. We have Azaria Thomas from Florida State. We have Denzel Burke from Ohio State. B and C's, both respectively. I think we go with the best combine of the two. Thomas at 6'2", 4.45, has good speed. Nothing else really standing on. That is pretty harsh in the 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. Denzel Burke, not gonna lie, not that much better, but good enough. We'll grab him in the second round. Go Ohio State, go national champion. Ends up being a value pick, 43 in true value, getting him at 48, and he has a dev trait. Let's go. And honestly, he's probably gonna be our corner one this season. Fourth round, I think we're probably, like, my plan all along was have Nick Herbig kind of be like a hybrid. Like, be a linebacker that can rush the passer, but keep that linebacker. I think for this season, we're going to have to put him purely at edge, so we need another linebacker, and we're going to get Maui Goa from the Hurricanes, from the U. Big-time athlete. Ooh. I mean, the athletic presence is there, but that is not great value. And for our final pick, we're going to go back to corner again. We have Tommy Hill from Nebraska. Letter grades are very good. B-zone, C-press, C-man, B-catching. Combine is not the best, but at this point in the draft, 5th round, you can get a guy that had the, passed the vibe test. And he absolutely did that. 51 in true value at 144. No dev trait, but that is going to help our secondary, which needs a lot of help this year. We didn't have a lot of picks. Kind of shifting, again, a lot of our priority towards next year's first round. But the fact that we're able to leave this draft with T-Mac, we get 2 really, really nice corners, both 70+, and we get at least a very interesting athlete at linebacker to develop. I'm not going to be too critical about this. We got the one target we had to leave with. And let's see how year one. Let's see if Marcus Mariota can fit the football here to T-Mac and Puka Nacua. So I just did some training drills. Puka Nacua, gold medal. Sick. I'm going to be honest though, kind of wish this was reverse roles. And maybe, I don't know what T-Mac's development trait is. I'm going to guess it's probably star. I'd rather him be superstar and Puka superstar than just whatever. We traded a lot to get Puka Nacua here, and now he's thriving in Hawaii. Now, the reason why we've been hoarding so many picks for 2026, put it on a shirt, is not so much Maui Goa and Fano, who'd be great gets, excellent talents on the offensive line, but I feel pretty good about the state of our offensive line. But we have one of the most polarizing names in college football over the past 4 or 5 days. Nico Iamaleava, formerly of Tennessee, hit the portal shockingly with a sad state, depending on who you ask, of current college football with NIL and everything. He dipped. He is now the quarterback of UCLA. He needs to be our quarterback. Secondly, maybe one of my favorite pass rushers in college football right now. His brother, unfortunately, hype didn't necessarily pan out, but there's something here. This guy is undeniably talented. Anytime I watched Oregon play last season, he was the guy that I was like, holy, him and Derek Harmon on the D-line were absolutely terrifying. And Derek Harmon's going to be, I'd be shocked if he falls out of the first round in 2025. And in 2026, Matayo Uiagalelei, the younger brother of DJU, the hyped up 5-star generational talent at quarterback, formerly at Clemson and Florida State. His little brother is an elite player. And my plan all along, I got to get both these guys. I don't know where. I mean, we have Marcus Mariota at quarterback. I have expectations that our own pick this year will likely get us at least one of these two. And there's a reason why I've hoarded an additional first-round pick. We have a couple more second-round picks. We'll find a way. We will find a way. And then we got the center here from Oregon, who's nice. That's probably the one spot on the offensive line we'd want to be looking at. Manu from Washington's also a very legit player. So we have lots of great options, just purely focusing on Polynesian players. Something else we need to do is I need to fill up my coaching staff. I'm not gonna lie, I hate Jonathan Gannon. I hate Murr from Impractical Jokers. Did my Philadelphia Eagles dirty. I do not want him a part of this. So I am going to fully flush out a coaching staff here. And for a head coach, I'd love to have a real head coach. Oh, Brian Daboll is there. Okay, that could work. Tell me Brian Daboll doesn't look like a guy just retired and went to Hawaii. Like, bring him in to be the quarterback guru, right? He worked wonders with Josh Allen in Buffalo. But I'm not necessarily married to the idea of having him be our offensive and defensive playbook right now. So for the offensive coordinator, let's see what we have. We have Vegas, Carolina, Detroit, Jacksonville, Arizona, Carolina, run and shoot, San Francisco, Arizona. I'd say I've seen Carolina put up some interesting. We'll start with Carolina. I'm not married to this idea. This is just our year one staff. There could be turnover immediately in the offseason. We absolutely are going to be going with Buffalo defense. Anytime we get that role, I'm taking advantage of it. Let's meet the first ever professional football team in Hawaii. This is our offense. I'm fine tanking. We have our first round pick and the Pittsburgh Steelers first round pick. I'm not expecting that Steelers pick to be top 10. That is where Trey McBride exists. I'd love a perfect scenario when I get both Iamaleava and Uiagalelei and keep Trey McBride. But the fact of the matter is I think our offense is probably going to be limited by Mariota at quarterback. Maybe he'll be elevated by having Puka and T-Mac in a pretty solid offensive line. But I'm expecting that we're going to have probably close to a top 5 pick. And with that pick, we'll be able to get one of our 2 targets. But with the Steelers pick, it might take a Steelers pick and Trey McBride type scenario to trade up to ensure we have the dream draft that we want. But offensively, if I'm looking at positives, I'd love to see Vaki have a good enough season to get off that dev trait and not have to worry about running back for the future. Defensively, well, we have a very interesting defense. Herbig is a guy that I'd love to see get a dev trait. I think Denzel Burke probably should be our corner 1 right now. A little worried about the secondary as far as corners are concerned, but luckily we had a good draft, getting 2 guys that do have high ceilings. Love to see Latu. I think out of all the trades that we made, Latu was probably the biggest overpay. But big picture, my plan was Herbig will be a linebacker, like a pass rushing linebacker, and Latu and Uiagalelei will be my pass rushers of the future because Latu has a very high ceiling. I've had in Colts rebuilds, he can develop into an absolute monster. So I think it was worth the price that I had to overpay at linebacker. Toto and Laufau are going to be our 2 primary starters in nickel. Hufanga is a beast. Blackman is very solid. Hopefully these safeties can elevate the play of our meh kind of secondary. But again, here in year 1, this whole season, this whole year focus is putting ourselves in a position to have the type of 2026 draft that we want. And then from there, it's going to be time to start building a contender. Bad news is that we're 0-4 to start the season. The good news, finally have a standout performance. Hufanga with a 6 tackle, 1 pick, 1 forced fumble, 2 recovery, made plays all over defense, still can't find our first win, and I'm fine with that. So what better time than now, our first win of the season. Hopefully we don't have too many more in store. We also have the Carolina Panthers, who is our potential pivot offensive playbook. And look at how their offense is playing. It's maybe a little bit better than ours, but also I think it's going to be very harsh to judge our offense with, you know who as our quarterback right now. So maybe it's unfair to Brian Daboll and his offense. And with the intentions of trying to lose as much as we can this year, maybe Brian Daboll's offense is exactly what we need. But let's take a look at some contracts here. Our cap room's good. It should also be better for the amount of trades that we did have. There is the dead money that got piled in, but there's also an insane amount of funds that was freed up, if you will. I think Mariota with the mentorship tag is going to be a great quarterback to keep around next season, assuming we can go where we want. We have Falele on the offensive line. That's a little pricey, but he is a starter until he is not. And I do think even just if he ends up being a trade piece at best, Trey McBride is easily worth that contract extension. I'm kind of surprised. Didn't they get an extension in season last year, late in the season? Usually that gets updated in Madden. Either way, he's locked in long term. We've won 2 in a row, and Mariota is playing good now, so I'm a little scared. All right, to the end of year number 1, we go 4-13. Got hot mid-season for some reason. I mean, good for Mariota. This is a big moment for him, obviously leading the first ever Hawaii season. Statistically speaking, for our team, I mean, we got almost 30 touchdowns out of Mariota. That ain't bad. If we're using this year to judge Brian Daboll's offense, maybe it could be viable in the future. Interceptions just far too much, but again, he's a 67 overall quarterback. Kind of comes with the territory. Vaki was solid. 9-11 for receiving. We have 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns for Puka. Under 900 for T-Mac. I mean, there's limitations to the offense. Would have loved a perfect scenario where Puka and T-Mac could both go over 1,000 yards. And maybe with better quarterback play, that will be attainable here with our offense. 700 yards, 6 touchdowns for Yoshivas, 6 and 6 for McBride. Pretty happy with those numbers. Vaki goes over 1,000 yards from scrimmage, which is cool. Defensively, Toa leads the team in tackles. Live foul there, over 100 tackles with 8 TFLs. We get 10.5 sacks from Lafu, 5 from Herbig on 8 TFLs. Maybe want to see a little more. That department. Starling Thomas, 4 picks, 3 for Hufanga. Denzel Burke had a hell of a rookie season as well, 79 tackles with 2 picks. We had no award winners, so we can look on what's the most important. Where are we picking with our selections? The Bears were terrible. Luckily, we lost 5 in a row to earn the number 2 pick, have the tiebreaker over the Titans, so that is sick. Patriots tried their best to out-tank us, losing 11 in a row. Steelers, I mean, they went with Justin Fields as their starting quarterback. As soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, they might not make the Mike Tomlin above 500, and they actually go 5-12 on the season. They did win the final game of the year, which might have cost me a couple spots, but we currently have the number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pick 2 and 7. Okay. We have the most recent mock draft. Well, it's before everything else. So actually, it just shows what it would have been. The Steelers won, and that cost us having pick 5 down to pick 7. But Iamaleava is currently projected, like we could get him at number 2. And Matayo Uiagalelei is not going till tick 10. So there's a shot that right now we can find a way to keep both of our first-round picks, get our guys at both those first-round picks, and keep Trey McBride. That is a perfect offseason. So too crazy in free agency. Just got some depth here. We got Marlon Tuipulotu. Actually was really underrated for my Philadelphia Eagles. Would like to bring him back. Good run defender. We got Matayo at tight end and Jay Tufele at D tackle. Just adding some depth across the board. And Matayo at tight end just in case Trey McBride unfortunately has to get moved on draft day. Mock draft 5 just dropped. Usually you can trust this one. And at pick 2, if the plan is to get Nico, then at pick 7, we could feel pretty confident that the board is going to fall the way we want it to. There we go. As long as we don't get lied to, we're going to have a very good time here. Pick 1. The Chicago Bears go tackle Caden Proctor. Pick 2. Looking for a franchise quarterback. Maybe the most polarizing, could be most hated man in all of college football. Over the last week, Nico Iamaleava. The Volunteers for UCLA. Seems like a LeVar Ball type dad situation, which it sucks, but it's very much something that happens. Probably more often than gets publicized. Looking at the player, 3 A's and a B. Great throw power, not elite throw power. I honestly did not expect 4.5 speed, but we will gladly take that as we find and land the franchise quarterback for the Hawaii Koas. Nico Iamaleava, number 73 in true value. That happens when you get quarterback. You think about number 2, but as long as he's a dev trait and he has that 93 throw power that we can work with, I'm all right with it. All right, last pick standing between us and me throwing my controller because the mock draft lied to us. Oh, that was a long name. Not Spire, the quarterback goes to at pick 7. We got technically our pick of the litter of our top players. Now we go at tackle is very good. We could select him and then maybe move Kingsley Suimadia from right tackle to that guard spot. But let's not mess around. Premier pass rusher Matayo Uiagalelei. That is a missing piece for this team. And him and Fatu, I think, are going to be absolute game wreckers for this team going forward. Not a great value, 18 in true value, getting him at number 7. But I think sky's the limit for him. I think he is going to be an X factor when all is said and done. On the second round, I'm going to do a little bit of a reach. We have Iapani Laloulu from Oregon, and I just recently drafted him maybe 2 rebuilds ago. I expect to go in the 3rd round, but he did have a dev trait. So at 106, I will take the reach to ensure we get a high ceiling lineman at our biggest position in need on the offensive line. Ooh, dude. 7th round. Probably understand why I drafted this guy. Fa'alili Fa'amoe ends up being 62 in true value at 194 dev trait. Let's go. So we're going to ignore the fact that I basically have no draft picks next season. I think our earliest pick is 5th round, and we're gonna admire the haul that we got here in this draft. Iamaleava at number 2, Uiagalelei at 7, Laolu at number 2 in the second round, 70 with a dev trade. Just kind of want BPA in the secondary with Toviano from LSU, 68 overall, just adding more depth. And then we get Fa'amoe, 72 dev trait at tackle. Yay, hey, that's what we needed. That's how now the rebuild starts. So as we start year 3 of this rebuild, finally happy with where this team is at. We have an offensive line. We have skill position players. Shout out Trey McBride for surviving. That I think we can grow, build, develop, and will be featuring when it is time for this team to compete for a Super Bowl. The defense, not as good as the offense. Definitely can look at the interior of our defensive line. Definitely can look at our corner room outside of Denzel Burke and say, like, well, there's a little bit of cause for concern. But our safety room is nice. Hufanga last season went from star up to a superstar dev as he is now the leader of the defense. I think between Herbig and Toho, one of these guys will get off a dev trait this season. And the pass rush of Latu and Uiagalelei is going to be gigantic for this team going forward. I think Matayo is going to be a beast, and I think a strong contender for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And I think Nico Iamaleava is going to get people to forget about him being a little bit of a dirtbag for how he handled the transfer portal at NIL with Tennessee, and they're only going to remember how damn good he was for the Hawaii Koas. Our first game of the season on the road against Seattle. Let's see what this team has in store. See what they can do. See if they can get the... I mean, we're not a bad team. 81 overall, 83 offense. Very comparable in a ways to Seattle. They do have an advantage on the defensive side of the ball. They are going to have an advantage running the football with Kenneth Walker. I think we can beat them. Looking at our jerseys, pretty good jerseys. I'll be honest, maybe not taking shots at the team builder. I did see a couple other Hawaii teams, maybe more eye-popping jerseys, but they ain't bad. And we're gonna get going here, and we're gonna win with the turquoise. We got Vaki in the backfield. We want to try to make this game as stress-free as we possibly can for Nico, and that is run the football. And Vaki, I'd love for him to be a two-way player like Travis Hunter. Played safety and running back in college, but Madden's not that. Maybe there'll be a feature they add to Madden next year because of Travis Hunter. That'd be really, really cool. I think ultimate customization options with a depth chart. Why not? This could be an interesting play. We'll see if the edge rusher stays with him. No, that's a free play. Boom, go to Vaki, and he fights for it. And there is the first career passing touchdown for Nico Iamaleava. And Honolulu has the lead on the road. Ooh, Puka top of the screen. Let's watch what that safety does. Safety stays kind of inside. Let's see the cannon. Puka Nacua outruns Deron Bland, the former Dallas Cowboy, gets cooked. All right, they're figuring out that we want to run the football. They're stepping up. But we're almost just daring. Okay, if you stop the run, that means I'm going to be able to rely on our premier pass rushers, our star talent, through the passing game. Oh, no, squiggly lines. Can T-Mac get open? Oh, we got it. That safety doesn't come. Stays put, flat-footed. And Tetairoa McMillan is gone. And a hat trick of passing touchdowns in the first half for the rookie Iamaleava. On third down into the second half. Seattle got on the board. Do not want them to gain some momentum. And look at that. It's going to be T-Mac again. Boom. Oh, makes... Brutal. Great drive here in the third quarter. See if we can get Vaki to punch this one in. There we go. They've had a couple good plays against our run attack. Not there. O-line, which our O-line needs to become dominant. I think they can. They're going to dominate the trenches like that more often. New, true era of Hawaii football. 1-0. We're going to go 17-0. I feel it. So at midseason, we have at least equaled our total wins from last year. 4-5, below 500. Wasn't expecting immediate results. We still have a rookie quarterback that is going to go through the growing pains of the NFL. But we're in a terrific spot. $199 million of salary cap. We got a couple fifth-year options that we're going to need to pick up. A couple depth players we'll see where the salary cap's at if we want to retain him. I think Uiagalelei is a really nice role player, so we can get him back on a 3-year, $13.5 million deal. Keep him locked up for the remainder of his prime. Thomas actually has been a solid corner for us. That's not a brutal price point. But I do feel like we could probably have a complete youth movement in the corner room. Henry Toto, I think there is a high ceiling for him to develop into... He just needs that dev trait, and he's on the field a lot to get a lot of tackles, and usually those guys, those linebackers, eventually do roll a dev trait for you. And I think the exact same thing for Nick Herbig. Now, it's unfortunate that he's kind of getting grouped in with, like, pass rush numbers, $57.5 million, but he's going to be that, versatile linebacker that can bring the heat on the blitz and play a little sideline to sideline. Puka Nacua can't go anywhere. This should get it done. 5-year, $187 million for probably our most important player of the rebuild. And at the end of the season, we go 7-10. I like our team ratings a lot more than our overall record. A little surprised that we have the 25th passing offense, but again, we are not at any way, shape, or form attached to our current head coach, offense, or defensive schemes. It was more so who's available in year one. So I think now that we have the talent in place, we might need to take a long, hard look in the mirror and see what we might be able to change up this offseason. I believe we finished the year with a win and a little momentum against the Rams. Looking at our player stats, rookie Nico Iamaleava, 27 touchdowns to 12 picks, 3,500 yards. I think that's not brutal for a rookie, but I think when you have the skill position players that we do in Trey McBride, Puka Nacua, T-Mac, McMillan, you should expect a little bit more, I guess I could say. The run game was on point, though. Sione Vaki, 1,200 yards, 19 rushing touchdowns. Don't know where that came from. At least someone kind of ate. No 1,000-yard receivers. Maybe a little concerned Puka might lose that X factor. Under 1,000 yards, only 5 touchdowns. T-Mac 9-9, 8-5 for McBride. Uiagalelei was decent. Vaki was somewhat utilized, but wow. I mean, in a perfect world, if Puka keeps the dev and Vaki kind of pops off here a little bit, that'd be nice. Defensively, Toto, 128 tackles. He's one of, I believe he was 3rd in the NFL in total tackles, over 100 for Leofau. We got 11 sacks, Latu, 11 from the rookie Matayo Uiagalelei. That could be front runner for defensive rookie of the year. And our picks numbers are pretty solid. Nico comes 3rd in offensive rookie of the year voting, but running away with defensive rookie of the year is Matayo Uiagalelei. Damn, thought Vaki'd be a little bit higher up there on the running back award. All right, so looking at our depth traits at season's end, the good news, the great news, is Vaki, with his very impressive season, gets off his normal dev. And we did not have dev trait regressor from Nacua, but we're playing with fire if we're going to have it by way of our offense, less than 1,000 yards for him every single season. That's unacceptable for one of the best wide receivers in the league. On the defensive side, Latu goes from star to superstar. Uiagalelei, for winning defensive rookie of the year, goes from star to superstar. Toto goes from normal up to a star. Leofau goes from star up to a superstar. Very generous dev trait there. And I'll take that every season. Because of our salary cap situation, I just want to get ahead of these contracts as soon as I possibly can. So we're going to decline the 5th-year option on both Latu and Fatano. Not a good role in free agency. One is Aiden Hutchinson and Sam Laporta hit free agency, which means Penei Sewell got paid. He's probably the #1 player I would want. I'd say him and Vita Vea are like the 2 players that I really, really want. Impossible to trade for Sewell, and the fact that the Lions have committed to him long-term sucks. You got Ronnie Stanley, who would be an interesting get. Unfortunately, I feel real good about our offensive line, so we're not going to throw any money there for the top Polynesian players. Let's see. We got Vita Vea D-tackle. Sometimes he's there. Damn. Maybe next season. Ooh, Tui Pelotu. Again, it's much like tackle. Very good fit. We have his brother starting at D-tackle. However, between Latu and Uiagalelei, and Herbig as our 3rd rusher, don't need him. So unfortunately, getting the team where we have it right now, which is in a really good spot, the thing that we had to sacrifice was our 2027 draft class, where we only have a 5th, 6th, and 7th round pick. Luckily, everything goes back to normal next year once we get to the Madden generated classes. Now, I will say, looking at the draft board, some interesting fits for me. D-tackle's the big need. And I kind of want Tenuvasa. We'll see. We'll see where he's at. If he slips to the 3rd round, absolutely. If he's into like the bottom 10 picks of the 2nd round, maybe we'll make a trade up. As we start the 2nd round, there's still 3 D tackles ahead of him. Now there's a chance that he could just get overdrafted, but I'm going to say, like, ideally, if we could see like Stone and Burley go off the board, then we maybe start picking the phone up and making some calls. No. 2 D tackles still ahead of him on the big board. Ends up going 40 to the Bengals. Brutal. So it was a really limited draft in the 5th round. I just kind of went BPA at D tackle. Got Calvin Dinkins from Mississippi State. He had 94 strength. We got Tuioti, the linebacker, in the 6th round, 66 in Canaro. We needed a kicker from Western Kentucky, 69 in the 7th. But excited to get back into a regular draft process next season with our regular amount of picks. We're going to do some work there. Promise. Now into year 4, hot start, 4-1, but we're going to come a little bit earlier than mid-season because I want to get ahead of these contracts. The longer we wait, the more expensive the price is going to get. We have Latu up first, 4-year, $113 million deal. Got to just rip that Band-Aid off. Lifu goes up, dev trait, got to pay him, even though it's unfortunately kind of like edge rush money. Okay, we're a little close. What about Mr. Pooney? Okay, these guys must got the same agent. Running a hard bargain here. Fautano, 4 years, 40. That's actually seems a little low right out the gate. Vaki, 3-year, 18. Come on, okay, look, here we go. There's a good agent. He knows what's best for business. We have Julian Blackman looking for a 3-year deal. Probably keep him for the remainder of his time into the NFL. Suimadia at tackle has been a great get for us. Just want to get ahead of this contract. 5-year, $102 million. Pretty much assume that we're never going to have the opportunity to get Suel at our tackle spot, so we might as well keep Fautano and Suimadia here together. And I don't think we're too far away on Fautano, Pooney, and Laufau. We'll make it happen next week. Year 4, we're starting to get things in motion a little bit. Our team rating is enough to compete and go on playoff runs. We go 9-8, which is still not the best record. We're still trying to figure out from a passing offense standpoint on how to maximize having both Puka, Nacua, and Tet McMillan. But our run game's been on point, and our defense took massive strides this season. Iamaleava, 33 touchdowns to 10 picks. You'll take that. 12-9 for Viaki. We got 12-13 from T-Mac. Over 1,000 yards from Nacua. That is working out pretty well. McBride's been solid. Maybe never playing like a 90-plus tight end, but I'm not necessarily going to complain about that because we want T-Mac and Nacua getting our 1,000 yards. Toto over 1,000 yards. Look at the sacks. 14.5 Uiagalelei, 14.5 Latu. Non-existent outside of that, but our D tackles are certainly a weakness of the team. I think going into this draft, now that we're in the Madden generated classes, D tackle and corner are going to be our top priorities, and usually you can find both those positions relatively easy. Toto leads the team with 4 picks. He might get that. That might be a dev trade season right there from him. We get our first award winner of the rebuild. First and second place for D lineman of the year. An interesting draw in the first round. Detroit should theoretically be one of the better teams in the Madden sim. They're just not. You know, I don't fear Detroit, and I'm going to say this if we're going to lose, but like if you're playing the NFC, it's like Philly, Dallas, Green Bay. They're probably like the big 3. Sometimes Seattle can be a pain in the ass, but like Detroit, yeah. They're not a feared team to run into in the playoffs. 27-24. Is that Jared Goff? Probably is. That, you know, they got Jared Goff, and he's a limited quarterback. But it wasn't easy. We had to take him to overtime in a game where Nico, in his first playoff game, his NFL playoff debut, 182 yards, which is not crazy, but 2 touchdowns, no picks. You'll take that. Vaki was nice. Yoshivas and T-Mac went off. Defensively, Toto, tackle machine, 2 sacks, Latu. I mean, it's all of our reliable players outside of Puka Nacua had a quiet game, having a great game. We get the Carolina Panthers in the divisional round, a team that's kind of followed us on our upward trajectory. I remember we were trying to decide if we want to go New York or Carolina for offensive playbook. We ran into the Panthers, and they were dog shit. Enough for me to be like, okay, maybe we'll stay with the Giants. Look at this. Now we're both here in the playoffs in the divisional round. We will show them enough respect to auto-upgrade our players. Hopefully it's a couple starters here, and it's... well, our special teamers and our starting defensive tackle. who is our weak point of the defense. So that could have him playing his best football. Marlon Tui Pelotu. Let's get a sack fumble. And the Koas are on a little bit of a run here. 24-21 over the Panthers. And we are absolutely crushing it on this run so far. You know, again, we're winning other ways. We're not winning because our quarterback's going for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. We're winning. I mean, Vaki has been great. T-Mac there. I mean, all things considered, Puka has been shut down for 2 games in a row and we're winning, which probably shouldn't happen. Defensively, Latu with a sack and a half. No turnovers, but the Koas are on a Cinderella run. Here on, well, it's now my day 3 of recording this reel. We're now here on Easter Sunday. More importantly, 420. And they said, you know what? We're going to make some magic happen. And in the NFC Championship game, maybe the first kind of cheesy team. I did say Philly, Green Bay, Dallas are kind of the big 3. Minnesota might be the 4th most annoying team. I don't know. I'd like to poll the room. What you guys say? If you guys played a lot of Madden like me, who are the most, like, we all, AFC easy, right? You don't want to see the Chiefs. You don't want to see the Ravens. It's annoying when you see the Bengals, because we know that Bengals offense can be broken. I feel like the Vikings are the Bengals of the NFC in Madden. Not always great. I've used their playbook and not had great success sometimes, but if you get it going, very annoying, very unstoppable. It's all about how they use Justin Jefferson. With the Super Bowl on the line, the Coas win! That number 5 defense shuts down the Minnesota Vikings 21-9. And it's a player of the week from Vaki. 58 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Low scoring, ugly. You think Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson cares one goddamn bit how ugly these wins are? His freaking team has great. His team has a chance. It's been a minute since we've gone on a Cinderella run in a rebuild. It's been, if we won early, it's because we've built a super team early. I think our team is far from a super team. Nico is playing like an inexperienced quarterback, and usually that comes back to bite you in the ass, but luckily our run game has been on point. There we go. Puka finally has a decent showing. Our defense has been incredible. 3 sacks on the day. I mean, Uiagalelei and Latu, that is certainly getting ready to enter the discussion of, are they the best pass rushing duo in the NFL, if not at minimum, the NFC. Julian Blackman with the interception. And if you're going to go on a Cinderella run and end up trying to win a Super Bowl, what better team to meet in the Super Bowl if you're from the NFC side than beat the Chiefs? Beat the final boss. Can the final boss's team beat the final boss? And we're going into the playoffs with huge dev traits as Latu makes the jump from superstar up to an X Factor, and Leofau makes the jump from superstar up to an X Factor. And if we're going to find a way to upset Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, those guys are going to have stand-up performances. Now, it's only year 4 of the rebuild, so I can't hop in. Got to sit here like you guys, front row seat, and hope our team can complete a Cinderella run. The magic, the power of the Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii take down the final boss. Ooh, opening. This better be a touchdown, not a field goal. There we go, 7-zip. And we give resistance. Usually KC just instant scores. But if we win this game, we've seen it's the defense. Our defense has been very good. We do not want this to turn into a shootout. And how did we not? We were on the 1, and we got 0 points, and then luckily we were able to hold the Chiefs. Man, our defense is doing outstanding. Pitching a shutout against Mahomes, but you're pitching a shutout against Mahomes into the 4th quarter. That's incredible. You only have 7 points on the board. That field goal that we decided not to take is severely biting us in the ass. But look at this. Come on, baby. Punch this shit in. Let's narrate this. Play by play. Nico got these guys 3rd and goal. Head of the 2-minute warning. Okay, we're at the 2-minute warning. 1st and goal. That's even better. Gotta keep chewing the clock. Vaki 7 yards. They better not get the ball under. Fuck, we scored too early. No. We've seen this before. You just gave Mahomes over a minute to try and tie this up, and you know what's going to happen. First play, boom, okay. Pacheco, second play, boom. I mean, they're taking their time. 38 seconds. Boom. 11 to Noah Gray. Only tight ends. Ooh, PBU, Elijah Jones. 22 seconds remaining. They still have all 3 of their timeouts. They hit a 10-yard to Noah Gray. Oh, no. 11 yards to Xavier Worthy. 9 to Xavier Worthy. Final play of the game. Second to final play of the game. And let's go! Honolulu! The Hawaii Koas. Year 4 of a minimum 5-year, maximum 10-year rebuild. Cinderella run. First time making the playoffs. Didn't have to go through like a who's who gauntlet in the NFC, we have to say. Maybe just to keep it from completely gassing this team up. But we played competitive teams. We had no playoff success. Our quarterback, who's the face of this rebuild, hasn't been playing particularly well this entire run. It's been the run game. It's been the defense. It's been winning old school. But when it matters, Nico, Super Bowl MVP, and the Koas shocked the NFL, shocked the sporting world, and upset the final boss, the cheat code, Patrick Mahomes, and the Kansas City Chiefs, 14-7. And we still got more time. I'm going to run it back one more. We're going to get at least 5 years out of this and see if we can get a little bit of dynasty. Can we go back to back? So for free agency, our final free agency, spending a little bit of cash here. We got Kaimi Fairbairn at kicker. I finally get Jalen Warren to come in and be our RB2. And to help D-tackle, we get DeForest Buckner, who I did not know is Polynesian. All right, well, my top pick goes at 29, Ben Gibson, 300-pound D-end, which would have slot in real nice to be our D-tackle. Sylvadonis Callaway, D-tackle and corner we need. He has B power move, A block shed, 303 pounds. Didn't really love, like, the D-tackles in this class. But the double B on Gabe Lindsey, or I guess we'll go Gabrielle. We'll go full government name here. It looks pretty interesting, but and he's also very good athletically, undersized. So it's, but he's also like he's over 300. Other guy that I was looking at here though was the corner, Deontay Glover, 3 A's and a B. And I think the thing that kind of stuck out to me is he is A catching as well. Need D-tackle more, but I think Glover is, you got to trust the top 5. Now, the only bummer is sometimes top 5 corner means normal dev trade. We've been burned with that one because he's not an elite athlete by any means, but ends up number 5 in true value, so he's 5 of top 5 at 32. But he does have the dev trade. That's sick. Let's go. Second, I just need a D-tackle. We only have 1 year left this rebuild. I need the best D-tackle that exists. Screw value. Throw it out the window. We have Leonard Burley, a day 3, but he's a nose tackle cheese. 6'3", 360 with elite strength. He's going to be good. We got to manifest. He's 61 at Sakesa. I mean, honestly, not a bad pick, but he does have the dev trait and 98 strength. So for the draft recap, I ended up getting 3 70-plus players, but at our 2 gigantic position needs, Leonard Burley, 72, and Glover, 77. And looking at Glover, I mean, a guy that has 89 catching at corner, he's going to be very good. We go year 5 as your defending Super Bowl champion. And, I mean, honestly, this team does not stack up favorably to some of our previous rebuilds that have been Super Bowl champions early. We went ahead and said it was a true Cinderella run. Maybe not Cinderella in the fact that like, our team's not bad. Like our offensive line is very solid. We have a 94 tight end, which is up there. I think our skill position players are near the top of the league, maybe top 5, definitely top 10. But we still have like a quarterback that's in ascension, has not necessarily arrived yet as a premier player. Maybe this will be the year. That's what we'll get. That's the missing piece. Defensively, love the addition of DeForest Buckner. That's like a wing now veteran presence. We crushed the draft, getting 2 rookies at positions of need. We have a fearsome pass rush. We now have an X factor at linebacker. Our safety room's been deep. We have a great kicker now in Kaimi Fairbairn. Maybe that'll be the difference between a couple wins, couple losses. Let's go see if we can defend this crown, this Super Bowl title, and finish this rebuild off back to back. We finished year 5, at least an opportunity to go back and go on a run. 10-7. We were 6-1 at midseason, so we did not finish the year out particularly good. Definitely a lot more L's than we looked last. So there was a hot start, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yikes. 3 and 6 of our final 9. So we're limping into the playoffs, to put it politely. Our team stats are down from where they were a year ago. Still, like, pretty respectable run game. Great defense, third in points allowed. Stingy defense. But our pass game, Nico, 24 touchdowns, is not great. Our run game's been solid, man. Vaki's kind of been stealing the show a little bit. I will give credit to Nico's rushing numbers have gone up a little bit. 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, ain't too bad. But let's be honest, an almost 90 overall quarterback with the receivers that we have, you got to be getting 30-plus touchdowns. Failed to get 1,000 yards for both our top stars. Last year might have been a flash in the pan, unfortunately. Defensively, Toto's been a tackle machine. Our pass rush is still solid with Latu and Uiagalelei doing their best, but just got nothing out of the D tackles. Especially the addition of DeForest Buckner, who's a known interior pass rusher. Very disappointed, to say the least. And our interception numbers aren't anything too special. I'm not overly optimistic that we're going to repeat here. Now, we didn't have a single award winner, so we can at least reflect back. This is going to be our final run of what our players were able to achieve statistically in this rebuild. Over 11,000 yards, 84 touchdowns to 26 picks for Nico Iamaleava, who's been... he won a Super Bowl. That's the best thing I can say. He won a Super Bowl, and he hasn't crushed our team with turnovers. There's your positivity. 4,600 yards, 49 touchdowns for Sione Vaki. You got yourself a fun little running back. I believe he's on what? He's on the Detroit Lions. Give that guy an opportunity. He might be able to make the most of it. Receiving numbers, obviously Puka did. I mean, most of these guys did it before because we had all the trades year one. But McMillan, 4,300 yards, 35 touchdowns in 3 seasons. That is a very nice numbers. Defensively, we have for, what players did for us, 52.5 sacks. We're Latu, 38 sacks from Uiagalelei. On the picks front, again, inherited a lot of that. Denzel Burke with 7 picks. He was a great pick. He's been a real solid role play for us in our secondary. But as weird as it sounds, the defending Super Bowl champions almost have to go on like another Cinderella run. Our team is not giving off vibes of a team that is ready to... Our team gave off the vibes of a team that's going to be one and done in the playoffs. I'm being honest with you. Not too many times a team that's 27th in points, 27th in passing yards is going to go far in the playoffs. Especially in Madden. That's exactly what happened. We get thumped in the first round. Thanks for showing up. 34-21. No touchdowns for Nico. Quinn Ewers with a 2-bomb. I mean, Nico did have the 2 rushing touchdowns. Damn. Not even 1 sack. But you know what? In a 5-year span, we won a Super Bowl, a Cinderella Super Bowl. We built a 90 overall team across the board. 90 defense, 91 offense. Successful rebuild. I hope you guys are enjoying it, okay? Now, because we got the draft coming up. Like, we've kind of just been in a little hold up here, because once the draft happens, we're going to be able to do realistic rebuilds off of those draft classes. So we're going to have a lot of fun and a lot more rebuilds coming your way. But until then, the last 2-3 weeks, it's just been literally, I'm literally like, what do I record? What videos do I make? So it's been tough, but I had a little bit of fun here with these like team builders. We did the Vipers pink slip. We did this one. Maybe we will have enough time to squeeze in another one. There's another like kind of a team rebuild that maybe we can have a little bit of fun with team builder and create a team. Let me know in the comment section below, but I do hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Enjoy your Easter Sunday. Enjoy your 420 for those that participate. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace. I love you. Have a good one.